may I know who you are first?
Yeah, we're human rights activists.
Good. My name is Nadia Shaheen. I'm 42 years old. I have 2 kids. We live well, and I've been well paid for so long. I don't have any those issues of not being. Well, I worked with USAID projects for 13 years, and I've been well educated. My kids are well educated, but we don't feel any dignity in this country. Under this regime, we don't feel any dignity. We don't feel any freedom. You would be afraid to go out on the streets and be faced by any of the police people just thinking that they rule the streets. They think that we work for them and not the other way around. So we want the whole world to know the Egyptian people are not in the street here because they're hungry. This is not true. The Egyptian people are in the streets because they want the dignity. They want to preserve the future for the kids. That's what we're looking for. We want a democratic country. We want our right to vote. We want our vote to count. For the first time, we feel that it's coming. This time is coming. Our vote will count, and we will choose who to rule.
Did you vote in the last election?
No, I did go to the elections, but I didn't like any of those who were running for the elections. So what I did go just to say, how do you say, to spoil the vote. It's like you will not use it against my will. That's what I did. So, but now I know. And I will protect the elections, this coming elections. Everyone on those streets will protect it because we have seen that I want to quote President Obama with all the controversy about what he's saying right now, but I want to quote him, yes, we can. The people can do it, and we will do it.
What's the controversy about what he said?
Well, we understand that each country has their own interests that they have to protect, and we understand that, okay? But at the same time, we've seen the American administration supporting other revolutions in other places, bluntly supporting them just because it was for the interest of the American administration. But now it's because, there is some controversy about, how it's going to be with Israel and how it's going to be with the peace treaty and all that. So they're taking, sort of not a very clear position. But it's getting stronger towards the people. But again, it's not strong enough, and it's not forcing this pharaoh to leave. Well, with all respect to all our pharaohs, because we do love them, but this person who thinks that he's God, he is not. He is not. The people rule, and we will rule.
Now, Obama did say a transformation has to begin now.
That's the last one. Well, that's again getting stronger towards the people, and we appreciate that, and that has given some support to the people on the streets here. So, but again, I think it seems that our president still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it. So, well, until he gets it, and until he leaves with the regime, not only him, until he leaves with the regime, and whoever says that we don't know how things will go in Egypt after that, this is not true. We have our plans, and we have our constitution. We don't have it's not a terrible constitution that we can refer to, and we have alternative plans that we can refer to after the president leaves. We don't want the people to be afraid that it's going to be a chaos. It is not going to be a chaos. We are a people with 7,000 civilizations, 7,000 years of civilization, and you've seen it yourself. We have kept the square clean. We are sweeping the streets. We are protecting each other. With all those crowds getting on in the Tahrir square, you don't see anyone harassing somebody else. We don't see anyone who uses bad words. You haven't seen that. We are civilized people, and we are here just to tell him, please, enough. 30 years of corruption, enough. He has to go. The people will rule, and the whole world has to know that.
Some people are saying that now what Mubarak is doing is encouraging former police to dress as civilians and go out in the streets and create chaos. Are you worried about that?
Well, No, I'm not. Because we've seen how, and you've seen how our youth are protecting the people here in the street, and how the army, and we want, yeah, by the way, I want to thank the army for their position, because the army has never been against the people. I mean, through all the riots that you know, through our history, the army has never been against the people. So we want to thank them for protecting the protesters in Alexandria. And here our youth is protecting the protesters here in the Tahrir Square, and we're not worried, because no matter what they do, and even if we give more martyrs to this revolution, it's all to ensure and to establish a good future for our children. That's what we want.
What's the role of women in this revolution?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, you can see a lot of women here on the street, and also we want to thank the people at homes who are protecting our children. I have kids, and I've left them with my mother. So, and she's with the revolution, but she cannot go on the street because she has to take care of the kids. So it's not only the people here it's not only the people in the streets. It's the people who are protecting our interests and our properties at home that are also supporting what's happening here.
Do you have any fear about an Islamic State being the next phase?
Democracy, because we've seen it ourselves. We are going to protect the elections, and of course everybody has to be represented. I mean, we are not banning anyone. I mean, everybody has to go to the elections and have to run for the elections, and the people will rule. And let's assume the Islamic party or Islamic Brotherhood or movements, yes, would win the elections for one term, okay? And they don't work for our interests. We have seen it that we can go out on the streets and change all that, and it's happened in several countries. I mean, no matter how, you know, Islamic or non-Islamic stuff. Once you don't like the regime, we don't want you, and they also have seen it that we've changed
there is still the method of
a regime that has been ruling since '52, and also Hosni Mubarak has been ruling for 30 years. 30 years under the emergency law. I mean, this is crazy. This is just crazy. So whoever comes into the position of the presidency or into the new regime will know that we can still go out on the streets and we can still change it if they're not working towards our interests.
Why do you think the Western countries have supported Mubarak all these years?
Because they have their own. It's Israel. It's Israel. It's the oil. It's their interest in the region to keep those regimes and the people, you know, as stagnant as possible, because you know they can. Well, in a stagnant world like that, it's easier to manage your interests. You know, you have the upper ruling people are on your side, and the lower people are stagnant. So that's why they're supporting this regime for so long. But again, if they rethink it, they can still work with the real people. If we have mutual interests, why would I hate you? Why would I be against you? If the USA knows that in return of the USA's interests, I need someone to protect mine, and we can work together, why would I hate you?
I'm surprised that there isn't more hatred towards Americans and the West, given that people supported this regime for so long.
That's the main reason, yes, because we've been always told, you know, that the USA will never let you do what you want, because the USA would like to protect Israel. That's the main interest of the USA.
But why isn't there more hatred towards Westerners?
Excuse me?
Why isn't there more hatred among the Egyptian people towards us?
No, because the Egyptian people, well, any people in the world, how do I say it?
we have period, you know,
We don't hate the peoples. When we show hatred and when we have, you know, slogans against a certain country, it's not the country, it's always the regimes. We know that peoples all over the world are suppressed in different levels, you know, but they all have, you know, their own concerns about how they live and what they want and how they do it. So we don't hate the American people, it's not that. We are against the American administration and what it stands for.
What about Israel?
We don't. By the way, the Jews have always lived in Egypt safely, and Jews, Christians, Muslims, and other people have lived in Egypt safely. We never talked about that. We don't hate the Jews. We're always against the Israel. Again, it's the government of Israel and what it does. It's not the Jews.
So what is your message to people outside who are looking at this and getting maybe some sense that there is a lot of violence on all sides? What is your message to them?
Well, I will not deny that there's some violence, but we want to assure you that it's all, the regime is just trying to do its best to stay as long as possible. So they are pushing those, thugs to the streets and just, make us feel afraid to just go home. We're not going home. And the peoples all over the world, please, don't be afraid. Democracy never brings bad stuff. I mean, you've seen it in the States yourself. You want to change the administration, you do it. We want that right. We want that right. Don't be afraid of us. If we just change this regime and we bring other regimes, we'll always be able to change it to the best of the people. The people all over the world understand that if you work for your own interest, I mean for the people's interest, it's always on the long run for the best. But if they still work to the interest of the governments, this is a very short-term path. We want the administrations and all over the world, the governments all over the world, the people all over the world not to be afraid of us and not to be afraid of the Egyptian people. We don't want the foreigners to leave. We will protect you. We will protect you. This is for freedom all over the world, not only in Egypt.